TGIF, it is Friday after a crazy week of wrestling news. The news never stops. Looks like WWE is reportedly wanting to re-sign Strowman back to WWE. Goldberg has some additional dates for Monday Night Raw leading up to SummerSlam. And speaking of SummerSlam, how about SummerSlam at the movies? All that and more in today's top story of the day. Hit the like button. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the top story. I'm Jose G. Next to me is Jeremy Bennett. What's going on, broski? Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday. We have made it through a week, and what a week it was.
It
CM
really
Punk,
was.
Daniel
Crazy.
Bryan, Braun Strowman now maybe. Boy, it's good to be a wrestling fan. We're gonna be in for a ride these next 2 months, aren't we?
Oh my God! It's this week, ever since the touring starting last week, it's just been nonstop. One breaking news after another. I'm usually here in the afternoons, but if you guys noticed, there was a lot of days that we had to break news earlier in the day because the news just kept on coming. But we want to thank you for joining us. We got tons that we're going to jump into. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button here on Sportskeeda Wrestling on our YouTube channel. Smash the notification bell so you never, ever miss an update or a live stream whenever we go live. We got tons of breaking news, tons of exclusive content exclusively on our YouTube channel, and we got some big stuff coming right out to down the line this weekend. Some big interviews, in-person interviews, and hopefully you guys will check that out. Make sure you're sharing today's Facebook stream in any of your favorite wrestling groups and tag your friends in the comment section to join the conversation. But let's jump into this Braun Strowman news, Jeremy, because we've seen all week AEW, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. Let me be perfectly clear. Nothing has been confirmed. Lots of places left and right. It's a lock. It's confirmed. Guys, AEW has not confirmed it. So Right now, this is all highly rumored, highly speculated, but with all these highly rumors and speculations comes another one with Braun Strowman, with WWE looking to re-sign the monster among men. What's going on here, Jeremy? What can you tell us, and what do you think about this story?
On the recent edition of Wrestling Observer newsletter with Dave Meltzer there, Meltzer says there is interest in bringing Strowman back, especially after the recent AEW signings. Of course, now, he's talking about things that have already been in the can with Andrade El Idolo, Christian, so to speak. I mean, I'm sure, Jose, I'm sure this week's news might get the wheels rolling a little heavier, a little faster, having them spin a little quicker there. Yes. with the news of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Again, though, like I said earlier in the week, I think maybe when I was on here on Tuesday, I think it was, I said AEW or WWE is probably in that release remorse. They had remorse for releasing Aleister Black. They tried to bring him back into the fold. He decided to sign with AEW. They had a remorse for releasing Samoa Joe, probably one of the biggest surprises of those releases. They brought him back to NXT, and, outside of the whatever the hell they decided to do with Karrion Kross on Raw, the stuff with Joe has been great on NXT, regardless of the whatever the hell they decided to do on Raw. That stuff with Joe has been great, laying out Regal. You still got this intrigue, and it's going to lead to Joe finally returning back to the ring. So now, you got all this. You got all these people now getting ready to be rumored. It's going to be probably the biggest month in the company for AEW in September if CM Punk does show up at All Out, and if Daniel Bryan shows up at New York, like everybody is rumoring. So WWE's got a counter, and Strowman. Maybe they finally booked Strowman the way they should have in the first place, because they did not strike while the iron was hot, and he lost a lot of momentum. So, but he's a very talented guy. So it would be within their interest to probably bring him back into the fold.
I completely agree, and especially with all these recent signings with AEW, a lot of people are commenting that this could be WWE's way of being kind of like scared and trying to be a little bit proactive in maybe bringing him back. That'll be great if they can definitely lock Braun Strowman down. But before we jump into our another news stories, we have our very own Rick Uchinno in Cleveland, Ohio, covering SmackDown tonight with us. And he decided to join us today just for a little bit.
What's up, Rick?
How you doing, bro?
About 3 ciders in right now, boys. So,
Yeah.
My guy.
Attaboy. Double fist those like Stone Cold.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got the work done early, right? Like I went down to the stadium earlier today, talked to a few names, some people you might know, Big E, Natalia, Dolph Ziggler. Had some fun. Now I'm outside of the Southern Tier Brewing Company here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Dinner before the show. So I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm ready to get back out in front of a live crowd and be amongst the people again.
That's awesome, Rick. Now, without spoiling too much of the stuff that you talked about with the superstars that you named, what was their overall feeling and energy while you were interviewing them in person and just being there in Cleveland tonight?
Dude, it's so upbeat. Like even Natalia, just one of the things that she said to me, because I just talked to her last week, like over the internet, and she was like, it is like so great to like talk to people in person. And that was just the overall vibe, was just being in front of people and being out on the road again. And everybody's really, really pumped. Even the backstage stuff, which I'm not at liberty to say what I saw backstage.
Of course.
It was definitely some high energy stuff. So everybody's really, really excited about being back out on the road. And this is the 4th show now in front of live fans here in Cleveland. It's going to be split tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. But yeah, very, very positive vibes backstage.
And we got Kevin Kellum joining us too. We got a jam-packed top story today.
It's a party.
We got a party here on a Friday afternoon. But guys, you guys have any questions for Rick while he's in Cleveland, while he has very limited battery power? Get your questions in because he's going to answer all those questions tonight on Smack Talk.
Rick, got a question today. I know we got some exclusive down the line that you already taped here with several members of the WWE roster. You mentioned the excitement there. What's the excitement from them? Because that has to be a whole different thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a guy like Dolph Ziggler. He hasn't even wrestled in front of fans yet. Like, he didn't wrestle all this past week. He didn't wrestle at WrestleMania. So it's been even longer for him. He's one of these guys, and he is in his hometown in Cleveland tonight, which usually means bad things for a WWE superstar. That means they're going to lose. They're going to lose. So at least I hope he gets to perform, and I know he'll get that hometown pop.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's really no other word to describe it except excitement. Just these guys are ready. Guys and gals are just ready to be out amongst the people, doing what they do, entertaining and feeding off of the live energy. And that's one of the things I talked to Dolph about was, his character, with Otis and Elias and others, he relies more on the audience reaction than
he does.
Other people might. So It's been a really challenging time for people like Dolph Ziggler, like Otis and Elias and others. So he's especially anxious to get out in front of the fans for the first time.
Well, we don't want to wear down that limited battery. I've been there at a wrestling show when how many tweets can I get out before this? And I got to get a lift and an Uber after the show too. So, oh no. And I want, you're like everybody else next to you. You just
got to go find that plug-in.
Yeah, seriously. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Enjoy the
Rick,
show. Appreciate
Enjoy
you
the
taking
show, buddy.
some time.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Wow, what a thing there. Sorry for the run in here, fellas.
Yeah, and sorry
you
for
just came out of nowhere, bro. You weren't even supposed to be on the show tonight.
I know. I have a comedy thing, and it may get rained out. It's an outdoor comedy thing. It may get rained
then
out.
I elbow dropped the back button on my keyboard, so then it exited me out of the thing. I'm like, oops.
Well, that's always great when we can have live reports from the venues.
Yeah, that was cool.
When I did it from WrestleMania, we did it also recently at another show, and now from SmackDown. Hopefully later I'll post SmackDown. But guys, let's jump into our second story of the day. Goldberg being announced for multiple dates from Monday Night Raw. A lot of people are expressing a lot of disdain for the Hall of Famer, but this is WWE's way of trying to bring in some fresh eyes, some other eyes. Nostalgia is quite the thing, guys. Is this the right move for WWE for the next 5 Monday Night Raws?
Well,
it makes sense, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Zarian said it best. Us people on the Twitter are a very vocal minority. I could care less. I don't want him in the title picture, but it moves the needle for the casual crowd, which is the majority of the people that watch the show. So
and buy tickets too, guys.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people that buy tickets, man.
So yeah, while the three of us might be meh on it, it's going to be a moneymaker for both Goldberg and merchandise sales and the WWE, because they're getting, like everybody in the comments is probably in our boat. We're just not excited for it, especially just thrusting him in the title picture because he's only contracted to wrestle 2 matches a year, and
Exactly.
I just don't get why they put him in the title picture for those. But
are you going to put him in a match that doesn't mean anything, or you put him in a match that does mean something if he's only going to wrestle twice a year?
I would say put him in a match that's not title related, but maybe a dream match. Somebody he's never faced. Yeah. Just don't have it for the title.
But the problem is here too that when you have someone that is the top name that you don't have anybody else to wrestle, you are going to bring Goldberg back to face, even though that person is the champion. So besides Bobby Lashley, besides Roman Reigns, who else would you match up Goldberg with right now?
Maybe Braun Strowman. You want to do another Braun Strowman power slam versus spear jackhammer match? I don't know
if he gets re-signed, if he shows up tonight on SmackDown.
I know we haven't talked about the Braun Strowman thing that came up this afternoon.
We opened up with it.
We opened up with it.
I jumped in here late, guys. Yeah.
Has he battled Drew McIntyre before? I can't remember.
No. Drew and Goldberg did Royal Rumble, and they had a match. I think a lot of people were exceeded expectations. Nishad Joel wants to see him take on Man Mountain Rock. If you want to see him take on an obscure mid-90s, not cracking the mid card WWF New Generation wrestlers,
a latter day Rick Boogs.
Yes, he's a Rick Boogs who had a WWF guitar. The body of the guitar.
Nice.
Like the WWF
it was
logo.
badass. It was badass. But
I want that. I need to put that in my collection behind me.
I bet it's in the the warehouse that they toured every once in a while. I think Edge and Christian did a skit from that on their network show that they used to do. That
was the best show. I am so upset that they canceled the Edge and Christian show, completely full of awesomeness or something like that.
That was the best network.
It got better as it went on.
It was so ridiculous. It was good.
Yeah, I liked it from the beginning. I was.
Oh, me too. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we got a good one here. Have Goldberg face SmackDown #1 announcer
Funaki, next Universal Champion. I'm for it. I'm okay with that.
I can't think of anything for Goldberg off the top of my head, so that tells me
that's what I'm saying.
Let's wait for something that would make sense. And
SummerSlam, you need the.
I got it. Here we go. I got it.
Give it
John Cena versus Goldberg.
Yeah,
but you got John Cena.
Never been done. I know, but you could do it later on. That could be another Saudi Arabia match if John Cena wants to go to Saudi Arabia.
Because I doubt he's going to Saudi, though. I doubt he's going to Saudi.
On the bright side, we're burning up Goldberg's last match of the year, so then we don't have to worry about him for the rest of the year.
Very true. On the nose. We don't have to worry about him. That's absolutely right. Guys, let's talk about an interesting piece of news that came out within the last 24 hours, and that is that SummerSlam is going to be heading to a movie theater near you. Would you guys buy tickets? Look at that. Look at that graphic that I made earlier today. A SummerSlam at a movie theater.
That is fancy.
It's fancy, dude.
Right? But guys, shopping. I would. Well, we saw recently that at the Double or Nothing was at the movie theaters. It was available to be seen at the movie theaters. And I think that's like the first time a wrestling event has been done at a movie theaters. I might be wrong on that, but we have seen UFC, we have seen boxing matches, we have seen other events that are usually aired in the movie theaters. SummerSlam, trying to make it just as big as WrestleMania. Would you guys pay a good $15-20 to go see SummerSlam at the movies?
I would.
Plus popcorn, plus drinks.
I mean, well, you're getting the fan experience, you're getting the communal experience. It's just it's an entry point for a bunch of different wrestling fans to go be somewhere at the same time. And I think those type of experiences now, as we're hopefully coming out of the pandemic. I know there's some concerns about that outside of the world of wrestling recently. But those type of experiences are I think, are very validating to people in a different way now. So I think the timing of doing it now makes more sense. I think the theaters have a better understanding of safety and how to space people out if they have to do them and they're ready to do that. And there's hopefully enough mask mandates and different things you can do depending on where you are and to keep people safe in that regard. And I do think theaters are something that weirdly people are now really itching to go back to. You have a conversation with people. I went and saw a movie. Like people always tell you, "Hey, what did you do last week? I went and saw a movie." That was live pre-pandemic. Now it's I went and saw a movie. Like people say it like that with their eyes coming up.
Yeah, it's like, even when the movie theater business kind of started going downhill as more people start getting home theaters and things, the industry had to kind of change things as a whole. So if the show starts to suck, well, most theaters serve beer, so you can go get a drink and chug down a beer.
Not all theaters, but I guess AMC is getting on that train depending on which AMC.
Really?
Yeah, they're doing that here in Orlando. Like there's plenty of places that serve beer, but there's one spot in downtown Orlando that the seats are pretty spaced out. They're pretty like nice luxury seats. Yeah. And it has like a little countertop where they could put your drinks and your food on there. And they come and they serve you. You don't even have to leave your seat. They'll come like every few minutes. Do you need anything?
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, we have a Alamo Draft House is just like that. And then
like the craft theater type stuff.
Yeah, and then we have Marcus Theaters here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and all the Marcus Theaters have bars and have the fancy leather seats as well in all the theaters. So it's kind of cool to see. So, but yeah, I think with it's kind of like I went to Alamo Draft House one time to watch my favorite movie of all time, Big Lebowski. Saw it with a group of people, and it wasn't one of those where you just sit there and watch a movie. You sit there and yell quotes from the movie. They encourage it. You have fun with the crowd. That's where this would be kind of the similar type of thing. You're having fun with the crowd. You get your booing, you're cheering, and I think it'd be kind of a cool experience.
We got a couple people here commenting. I just want to read something. Yeah, Andrew Israel. It'll be cheaper to have your friends over and watch the pay-per-view. It's much cheaper. No space between the seats. How can you cheer for your favorite and not get swished from other pages? But here's the thing. You wouldn't. Because everybody's there to watch the same thing and everybody has the same energy and vibe.
It's just like I said with when I went and saw Lebowski, or like when you go to where they play Rocky Horror, it's encouraged to be you're encouraged to be rowdy.
It's worth noting. I don't know what the level of it is, but I remember years ago listening to the Law live audio wrestling out of Toronto, and they would be on every Sunday night after the pay-per-views, and they were always talking to people that went to the theaters to see the show. And I guess in Canada, that was a very common thing that they would have that all the time. I don't know. I'm about to sneeze. I don't know at what level.
God bless you.
You're fine. It's not going to get
in Spanish. Que Dios te bendiga.
We're an inclusive program. But no, it's worth noting. What is the distribution? Is this something where you're going to have this at every theater? I know they're doing this with a specific group that I had not heard of before. That I don't know if this is connected or what their level of distribution is going to be. Sometimes you see these like special events at a theater. I know operas do this quite a bit, or different theater level events, but their level of distribution isn't as widespread as some fans think it would be. It's not something we're going to have those live, like, closed circuit, if you will. It's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this is through iconic events, like in Nebraska, that's only in Omaha at one theater, so it's not going to be at every theater. But I think it's kind of like Fathom Events kind of has some things like that too. And so before the pandemic, I know like Fathom Events, I went and I saw all three Dark Knight movies back to back from the Christopher Nolan series, and that was kind of a Phantom Events thing too. So they kind of have these little special packages they do at certain theaters.
Yeah, they do some pretty cool stuff. I remember a few years ago, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, so they had the Dragon Ball Resurrection of Frieza movie, and then they had like a trilogy going on because this is when Dragon Ball Super was about to drop, and it was a Fathom event too. So they did a trilogy triple feature type of deal. So yeah, those Fathom events are pretty cool. So we'll see how this does. It'll be interesting to see what the numbers are after that. We'll have to dive in and figure out what the numbers are for the movie theater buyouts and see
if it's successful. They'll do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and if it's not, they won't do it again. You know what I mean? Like if it's not a successful thing, they're not in a sense to do it. But it is a sense of WWE trying things. I think this is another example of them trying to do as many different things as they think they can do to find or bring fans back, which is it's a central talking point to a lot of different things they're doing across the board, whether it's merchandising, whether it's the video games, whether it's the live events. I was very surprised while we're talking about all this different stuff of the house shows, about the amount of live events that they're going to do, because those are less appealing to fans than television. I think at least the hardcore fans. I mean, if you're a casual fan, you hear about WWE in town, we're going to do that, but now they're doing the hardcore media blitz. They're giving media access at a level that we haven't seen them do in a long, long time.
Yeah, but of course, when you add Cena to those events, that makes it a hell of a lot more enticing. Yeah. And plus, with the theater thing, I don't think that's. I mean, it's probably not going to cost WWE that much to get that distribution, especially now that we live in such a digital world. It's probably not.
They're probably just going to stream it. They're probably just going to stream it from Peacock and put it on the projector.
So it's going to fail.
It's going to be glitchy while everybody spent $15 to $20 per ticket and $30 on their popcorn. So
could you imagine the Instagram stories of that? Yeah,
everybody's throwing their popcorn at the screen when Peacock freezes.
I bet they'll do the internet. They'll do the network feed. I mean, because the issue at the last pay-per-view that I know that you're joking about there, that was only for people with Peacock. That was not an issue for anyone watching internationally at all. Yeah. They didn't have any problems with that.
Yeah, and I think I'm wondering if they probably have to do a different kind of distribution than just streaming through Peacock in terms of these things too. That might be a legal thing that they may not be able to, they have to probably have access through a different way than Peacock to show it at the theater.
Guys, before we head out for today's top story, it's Freestyle Friday. What does that mean, guys? Freestyle Friday. Get your questions in. We'll answer them here for the next 5 minutes. Whatever question you want,
fire away.
We'll go ahead and answer that. But one here from Thomas Baliar, or we'll start with Dro David again.
Okay,
we'll start with him.
Go ahead.
Jose, Kevin and Jose, what about other pay-per-views? Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
This is the first time SummerSlam and WWE is doing this project, this pay-per-view at a movie theater. So I don't know. I guess it depends if it's successful and it does well and it makes money for WWE, then maybe for the big four, like a WrestleMania, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, then maybe you could do them there. I don't think every pay-per-view needs to be in a movie theater, but I think the big special ones,
big four,
I think it should be okay.
Absolutely. What's this question from Thomas B that you had? I didn't mean to pull one up right away.
Oh, no, you're good, bro. So Thomas Bailey, are Punk and AEW done deal? Question mark.
It's not a done deal.
Nope.
I mean, from all the reports we got, and now Meltzer followed up. So the news we got initially was Fightful, right? Tip of the cap to old millennial Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, saying that CM Punk was talking about an in-ring wrestling return and that all signs pointed to AEW and that they were talking, that both sides were talking. All right. Then you follow it with Meltzer saying that indeed is true. He doesn't know how long it's been happening, but they've been working on it. And then you find out the news from bodyslam.net, which is also corresponded by Dave Meltzer, that Daniel Bryan is a lock. He's more of a lock than Punk is at the moment, and if not, he's signed. Now you have news in the last 24 hours that WWE officials, who may or may not have had much contact with CM Punk, believe, or at least their sense of operation as the opposition to AEW, is that Punk is signed there, and that's the way we're operating on things right now. Yeah. But WWE's put out stuff like that to the proverbial dirt sheets, right? Where the dirt sheets are dirty sheets. Before, and I put out this insane theory. It is on the Inside Cradle. Go watch it. We just put up an episode.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Can I give you the Reader's Digest of that, Jeremy? And you can tell me if this pisses you off or not. You just let me know if this aggravates you.
Just give me the very quick 15-second version of it.
The Summer of Cena. All the dates are booked through SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
The one I believe he is possibly added to the show in Chicago, August 2nd. CM Punk, Chicago, famous time. Now Cena may be on that show, as far as I know. That is the biggest advanced ticket sales they have on this tour right now in terms of like sold in advance. They've sold over 10,000 tickets for that show at the Allstate Arena the Monday after Lollapalooza of all days. So the issue there is if Cena's not on that show, I believe he is. Last time I heard he is advertised for it. You hear all this talk. What a curveball they could throw. What a curveball WWE would throw. It was like, no. Say you're going there. No. Go ahead. Go ahead and say it. Oh, okay. You got Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Okay. We have The Rock coming. And you know, like WWE's not like. I mean, I have a good friend of mine, Ross Berman, who writes for WrestleZone. He put out a tweet. He's like, he's a pretty pro New Japan, pretty positive AEW guy. He goes, you have to remember that the WWE always has The Rock and Roman Reigns in their back.
That almost sounds like a meme. Remember that meme, with Loki and the Avenger? He's like, I'm very powerful. So Loki's AEW in this scenario, right? He's like, I got CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and then Captain America or Iron Man comes out. He's like, we got a Rock.
But you got Rock that doesn't wrestle much and is not gonna wrestle again for the foreseeable future. You got Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. While they're not going to wrestle a full 52-week schedule, they're going to be in it for probably the long haul. You're going to probably see them on television every week or every other week. It's probably going to be like Christian, where you see where they wrestle occasionally, and you see them on TV when they're not wrestling. So they're going to be constantly on that product. Where The Rock, is maybe going to be in a tag match to protect him because he got hurt the last time he wrestled. And also he's a mega movie star, so he ain't wrestling much more than that one match. So he's just going to...
I wonder, because Rock's in a different position now with his movie crew. He's much more of a producer. He has more stroke in the film,
he's got
the film world.
He's got the production company now, and he's got the XFL. Are you trying to say that he may scale back his acting?
I don't think he's going to scale back his acting because he has so many projects in the pipeline.
The Rock can do whatever he wants, bro. He's got that BTE. You know what that BTE means?
What's that?
Being the elite?
Big trouser energy, bro. Y'all don't follow The Rock on Instagram?
I get that the thing is with Rock, I do think the insurance windows are going to be more of a deal, but he's got a lot of movies in the can already. He just did this Black Adam movie. It's already filmed. It's done.
Yeah.
The time frame for him to have this type of match is closing. So if he's going to do it, this is the time to do it. This is also the time to do it that corresponds with everything else he has coming out. Rev up the base. What's the base of my fan base? The wrestling fans. Rev them up. Hey, Jungle Cruise is coming. Hey, Black Adam from DCU is coming. Oh, a second season of Young Rock on NBC. It all plays. Everyone think, why would he go back to wrestling? Because it gets people excited about everything he does.
More marketing. It's more marketing for him.
But
it's great. But also going back to the CM Punk story, this whole thing, this has been so much not negativity. But that's why I stay off of Twitter, just because everybody's like either for it or against it. But my favorite post they're not quiet. But my favorite post came from Heelbook today. And it said, according to an anonymous source, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have reportedly either signed, are close to signing, are in talks to sign, are signing in on Zoom to talk about starting talks about signing an AEW contract, but plans may change, allegedly. That was my favorite post.
Man. Another one I liked was I think it was Andrew Zarian from Matman posted the clip of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk being interviewed backstage, and Bryan goes nuts, like maybe we will, maybe we won't. Yes, no, I don't know. It was CM Punk just standing there, and that was.
I don't know.
Yeah, they walk off. They walk off with the "I don't know" chant. Back when they teamed together that brief amount of time, I think that was Andrew Zarian that posted that. That was pretty funny, I thought.
Well, I mean, and Punk kind of stirred the pot. He posted some stuff that was...
he did the serious Michael
Alan
Jordan
Parsons project.
Alan Parsons. I was trying to think of that.
Oh yeah, I reported on that today earlier on the news roundup.
That song is a big thing in Chicago.
That is the Chicago Bulls anthem right there for their
It's a walkout song.
From North Carolina.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's a walkout song.
The Huskers use.
I kind of want to hear that, Jeremy. Keep going.
Yeah, now at 6'2", weighing 210 pounds, CM Punk.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, do the Alan Parsons Project, and then it cuts right into Punk's personality.
You know, I'm gonna go into my Adobe Premiere and just mix that up real quick because I think that's gonna sound amazing. So just give me that voiceover track.
I even do Cult of Personality at karaoke too, by the way. So
there we go, Jeremy Oki. We're gonna have to do some
maybe Punk can hire me for the live performance if they can't get Living Color.
I love it.
Get the bag, dude. Get the bag. Daniel has a question here, guys. What are you expecting from SummerSlam this year? You know, SummerSlam is sneaking up on us. We're less than a month away from the big show.
Yep.
This will be WWE in front of an estimated 40,000 plus people in Las Vegas. The same night as a major Manny Pacquiao fight. Worth noting, WWE loves to tout certain things. I'm not talking
Vegas,
about
baby.
Yeah, Vegas. They'll
baby.
be in Las Vegas. Las Vegas wanted them. Las Vegas pitched them for this. And Las Vegas also wanted them on a Saturday night. A lot of unique, big, different things about this show.
Because people could hop from SummerSlam over to the fight.
Yeah, and that's another thing worth noting about this. It's gonna be a Saturday night, but they're gonna want this whole show done before 9:30 Central Time. Yeah. So they don't want it to step on the main card. The fight card will start down the street at the MGM, but they're going to try and get this thing done so that enough people who are buying tickets for both can go to both. But I think, you know, it's not like WWE's going to draw a Manny Pacquiao fight in terms of a live ticket. That's worth noting here in this regard. But also, the tickets to the Manny Pacquiao fight are going to be through the roof in terms of price. So there we go.
Those marquee boxing matches are crazy expensive in the thousands.
Thousands for ringside, right?
But I think, you know, in terms of what we think about SummerSlam, I think they're going to bring the big guns. There's clear competition now with Punk and Bryan possibly going to AEW. They need to step up their game, so they need to kind of plan ahead between to get some intrigue from now and to get them to the Royal Rumble, or to get them to at least a Survivor Series. So I think they're going to bring some big guns and provide a crazy show for us in August.
Yeah, I think WWE is going to flex their guns at SummerSlam to show who they really are. Yeah. They know they're not impervious to what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. They know who AEW is. They know who everybody else is. This is going to be their opportunity now that we are back to normal. This is going to. That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. This is going to be their opportunity to be like, this is who we are. This is what we can do. None of y'all can touch us. That's what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Mark my words.
And they're going to have to, there's going to be things about this event that's going to make people angry because they're just not doing this or that, but that's every wrestling show. The thing that's worth noting is, I got to say, WWE has a lot of momentum coming out of Money in the Bank. There was a lot of positive feedback to it. Now, at the same time, you cannot deny what AEW did so quickly out of that preemption period with the NBA. I thought it would take them like a month or so to get back some of the audience.
Oh man,
they were right back there. You're not talking about them being in range of hitting territory of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
and that's crazy.
The demo did top Raw a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And I think the most recent numbers was what 1.15.
1.15. Yeah,
second week in a row. Second week in a row over 1 million.
Number one on cable. But it also helps with what competition they got. I mean, there was like some news. That was about it. There was no sports, you know, and we're in a nice little period here. Baseball's not heating up just yet.
Yeah.
You know, football's not happening for at least the next month or so.
Usually, and football's not on Wednesdays. Usually when it comes to Wednesdays in the fall, their big kind of worries the Masked Singer. The Masked Singer is usually the thing that kind of knocks the ratings down. Yeah, knocks ratings down. So
let's jump into this one.
Last question of the show today, guys. Here from SC Williams watching us on YouTube. Hey, Kev, Jose, and Jeremy. How do you feel about the storyline with Andrade and the Lucha Bros and Chavo coming back was unexpected? Will this tease the Lucha Bros heel turn on Pac or Andrade or House? No, someone? Let me tell you. I really want to answer this question first because I think this is brilliant. I think this was the best thing that could happen to Andrade, is having Chavo Guerrero, who's a very nice person, by the way. I met him at WrestleCon earlier this year during WrestleMania weekend over there in Tampa. Chavo Guerrero being the mouthpiece, the executive counsel for Andrade, bro, that just elevates Andrade's status as a superstar in AEW to another level. Not to mention that if he brings on Pac and Phoenix, bro, that is going to be one unstoppable stable. And yes, that turn on Pac is going to come so hard. Everybody knows it. They're gonna milk it, but it's going to happen.
Well, I think they're playing on the obvious. I think they're playing on, obviously, Phoenix and Penta are going to turn on Pac eventually and join Andrade. I think it's the other way around. I think Pac is going to turn on them and turn on the brothers and join Andrade possibly. Or I honestly don't want any turns at all, because you got 3 dream matches right there with Andrade and all 3 of the Death Triangle. I honestly don't want the Death Triangle to break up, because A, they are a solid team for when they bring those trios championships back. B, I like how they work together. And C, you just don't need to break them up. They're teasing it, but I don't think they really need to break them up. I think if anyone defects, it's going to be Pac, because he works better as a heel. But I honestly don't want them to break up Death Triangle at all, and I want to see all 3 matches, because man, it's going to be tremendous. But the addition of Chavo is awesome. Last time we saw him was talking Shopomania, so
which is great, which is a national treasure of its own. If you haven't watched it,
I love it.
Kevin, what's your take on this?
It's interesting. I think if you're in AEW right now, right? If you're in AEW right now and you have a program that is in place or moving, you should feel very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those guys that's just waiting to be used, or has been pulled down a little bit, or maybe is in a less prominent storyline, or really most of what you're going to be doing is on their secondary programming on AEW Dark or Dark Elevation, or as Tony Khan called it, their Performance Center. Unnecessary. when I saw that, I was like, that is unnecessary.
Shots are always going to be fired. Shots are always going to be fired.
Don't trigger Kevin.
I know, but that came when I read that came off so flaky. I was like, what are you doing? Like, why? No one asked you to go out there and say that. Nothing prompted you to say that. But whatever. So, but if you're in those positions, those mid-card positions where you have your storyline, be happy that you have them now. Because the issue that I don't think some AEW fans are noticing here is they got a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of premier talent. They have a lot of talent that could be on television anytime, and they're going to have the same problem by the end of the year. Why are they not doing anything with insert wrestler X?
Yeah,
that's going to happen, and that is absolutely going to happen. And you also got to think about this: Pac and Lucha Brothers are not going to be in the same type of position if a CM Punk and a Daniel Bryan come in. All right, Brian Cage, hot signing for them, came over, is not going to be in the same position. Here's a wild one. Someone who's actually done really good ratings for them. Is Darby Allin going to be the same star he was if a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan come in?
Oh, I don't think I don't think 2 men are exactly going to bump especially your established stars off the card. Plus, you're going to have
someone's going to lose their spot.
You got Rampage coming in a month as well. And Rampage could easily go 2 hours if they need to. Eventually, they'll probably test the waters, because 9 p.m. Central on a Friday night is kind of a nail in the coffin.
It's a hard sell, man. That's a hard sell,
especially with the most watched wrestling show on Fridays.
Yeah, and they had the thing before where they did the Dynamites there because they were preempted by basketball,
and those ratings sucked,
and they weren't great.
No.
Mm-mm.
No,
it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next few months with Rampage and SmackDown at the same time. See how those numbers, because are they going to be broadcasting at 9 or at 10 after SmackDown?
Right after SmackDown.
Right after SmackDown.
See, that worries me, because the last time we had this scenario, those numbers were less than $500,000.
Is the show going to be taped too? Are they taping that show?
I believe
so.
Yeah, I believe
have to. Yeah, it's going to be cheaper to do it that way. But the issue is you're going to tape that show. This is from a hardcore wrestling audience, right? That's what you're playing on. And people are going to know that result before it gets out.
But so, going back to your point of where are people going to be put at the same time, if that's kind of, if somebody's just watching Dynamite, maybe somebody that only watches Dynamite's going to see that. But if someone is pretty a pretty hardcore AEW fan and watches Elevation, watches Dark, I don't think they see that. They see those guys on a regular basis, where someone that only watches Dynamite may not see it.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
It is certainly a very interesting time. We already have people asking us here about this Braun Strowman story. I know you guys covered it a little bit earlier. Give them a recap if they're just joining us a bit late.
So at the top of the show, we were talking about Braun Strowman, that reportedly, according to the Wrestling News Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer is saying that WWE's reportedly have interest of bringing back the recently released Braun Strowman. I don't know why, but it looks like it's because of all the recent signings and all the pure speculation and highly rumored signings of AEW for Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, recently Malachi Black, big names, and there's some type of message that's being sent that they feel that they got to get the upper hand here, right? Yep. They got to get the upper hand here, and bringing Braun Strowman will definitely give him that upper hand, either back to Raw or SmackDown. Again, nothing's been confirmed here, but these are just things that are being reported, and we got to throw them out there because it is newsworthy.
But then you're going to have people like Hassan saying, why release him if you're just going to bring him back? It seems like a really ridiculous thing. Well,
they bring him back for a discount.
Yep.
He was making $3 million. He was one of the highest paid stars at the time at $3 million. So that was the main reason why they got rid of him, and because they just weren't getting their return on investment because they didn't strike when the iron was hot is part of the reason. But
also the pandemic. I mean, what is that guy worth if you're not selling tickets with him? If you're not selling, if you're not putting out the same type of merchandise, if you're not doing the same type of licensing deals, that's not a shot at Braun Strowman. That's just this. I mean, I think some of this is circumstantial.
It was a business decision.
Yeah, it was a business decision. I'm not saying it's fair to Braun. It's not.
No, it's not.
And it's not. But I mean, a lot of things are. And like I said, guys, I'm not doing this to be like anti-AEW. They're going to have the same issue where they're going to shuffle talent around and stuff like it's going to happen. But I also think AEW is in a position where they're going to spend a lot of money right now to play. So, I mean, Braun might be in a good position where maybe he's coming back for not that much of a discount if AEW wants him as well.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right about all this. It's definitely an interesting time to be a wrestling fan, guys.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
It's definitely the best time to be a wrestling fan. Guys, that's it for today's show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have tons of exclusive contents there, tons of exclusive interviews that are going to be dropping this weekend. Rick Uchinno interviewed tons of people at SmackDown today. Natalia, Big E, Dolph Ziggler. Those interviews are going to be dropping this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. Inside Cradle, brand new version available now on audio podcast version, available on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your major podcasts. If you want to watch the video form, head over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you never miss an update or a live post. Tonight, we got Smack Talk with Dutch Mantel. Rick Uchinno will be reporting live from SmackDown tonight in Cleveland, Ohio. And guys, remember, it is a dual broadcast because the SmackDown Women's Championship will be at the Rolling Loud Festival tonight in Miami. So we're going to be having a broadcast from Miami and a broadcast from Cleveland. So it's going to be an interesting show.
Yeah, we just dropped an interview with Carmella talking about that entire experience. So you guys can check that out as well on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, guys. All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Have a great weekend. And remember, guys, when you're watching wrestling, Jeremy and Kevin, tell them, what's the most important thing to do?
We say it together. 1, 2, 3. Enjoy
wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.